Right, I'm here with upstate New York fashion and clothing line, Be Unique. Before I get into how you guys started the brand and the clothing company, I want to start from the beginning to get you guys' story. So, allow you guys to introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Roland, but you call me Ro for short. One of the owners from Brooklyn, New York. Shit.
It's all good, man.
One of the owners from Brooklyn, New York.
My name is Pito. They also know me as P. And I'm also one of the owners of Be Unique from Bronx.
My name is Zoe. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I've been in Albany for a long time in the upstate region. I'm one of the owners of Be Unique.
Alright, like I was saying, I want to start from the beginning to get you guys' story. And I think it's very important as we cover a lot of hip hop content on Envy Online. Fashion and hip hop intertwines. And being that you guys are from the city, it brings a certain like cachet for us to upstate New York, as I'll explain it to y'all off camera. Like, I'm not gonna hate, I'm gonna give y'all guys y'all props. Like, we got a lot of our fashion sense from when cats from New York City was coming up here putting us on to certain things. So growing up in Brooklyn, can you tell us what early Brooklyn, I'm gonna start from left to right. So I'm gonna start with Ro and then move around. But can you tell us what early Brooklyn was like for you growing up?
Well, growing up, younger age, the fashion was always there. We had the Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, Benetton, but even before that, there was Guess. Brooklyn always had its own style, the way they put things together. And as a shorty, as a youngster, I looked up to the older people that was, putting it down, getting fly. I wasn't always able to afford, all the nice stuff everybody else had, but, it was there, the influence was there. And as I got older and was able to get things on my own, I took to fashion very strongly.
Definitely. So you told me you grew up in the Bronx.
Correct.
Can you give us some of the sense of what was going on in your childhood and teenage years in the Bronx as far as fashion or things you was into?
All right, well, I'm definitely going to piggyback off a roll on that one. There was so much fashion at that point in my life when I was a youngster. We talking like early 90s, if not late 80s. And back in them days, there was a lot of money going through the city. So there was like a fashion show, man. Like, obviously, I was well out of my element as far as trying to afford half the things these dudes had, but it stuck with me, that love for the fashion, the looking fresh,
And as for me, fashion came growing up in Bedford-Stuyvesant as a kid and just looking at, all the dudes that was relevant in the hood. They was always, fresh to death. And that was just something that, coming from Brooklyn, you had to be, or you wanted to be, fresh. You know what I mean?
And just another point about, especially like Brooklyn, each borough had their own individual style.
I'm glad you brought that up. Can we get into that a little bit?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So each borough had its own individual style. Brooklyn was a little more on the Timberlands, Carhartt hoodies, the rugged vibes. The reputation was, Brooklyn was out there taking it. So the style was a little more rough edge, like the Carhartt suits, the full suits with the Timbs, the 40 belows. But then you had some cats too that was, they was able to change it up when they needed to. But the Champion hoodies, and, the Guess jeans, and Sherlins, and all that stuff. But Harlem was a little different. Queens was different. So you could kind of, back in the days, you could kind of gauge what borough a person was from by what they was wearing.
Give me either one of you. I'm gonna start from Brooklyn, Bronx, and I guess Brooklyn. An average Brooklyn fit from your time period. What was your go-to? If you had a go-to outfit before you went to high school.
So for me, the go-to outfit, like I said, before I was able to, afford things on my own, it was a little different. But once I was able to afford things on my own, my individual style, I had the Brooklyn style, but I also incorporated things from some of the other boroughs. So, for me, I liked the Gap cardigans at the time. The Gap cardigans with the turtlenecks, the classic, the black Reebok classics with the jeans. That was one of my go-tos. Another one was the Filas. I had the Sergio Tacchini suits, sweatsuits. So, I had a couple of different ones, but when we talk about the go-to, nothing beats the construction Timbs with the jeans and the hoodie.
What was it for you?
For me, I ain't gonna lie, because, like he said, Brooklyn was more into the heavy on the rugged side. The Bronx, we was more into the sneaker side. A lot of Air Force One. We was uptowns. Like, that's what we sold. I would do a pair of uptowns, a nice good pair of uptowns, which you see obviously in our store we got a lot of, because that was my little aspect of it, my little touch, the things that I would like to see as far as the fashion goes. But it was definitely some uptowns with a nice good hat and a shirt to match them. I didn't really it was more showcasing the sneaker and like either the hat or the shirt. It didn't really matter too much about branding at that point. As long as you had the right pair of feet with the hat and shirt, you was set.
Question, you was lit.
Yo, I'm trying to think of the rap artist that had that Air Force One song. Was it Nelly?
Yeah,
it was
Now, how big was that? Because we kind of had the same thing upstate where it was the matching the hats with the different Air Force Ones. I forgot what year that was, but the Nelly era was basically like, how influential was that to see you guys were, because Nelly might claim that they were doing it in St. Louis first. I don't know if that's a regional thing, because then that might get into New York versus down south. But
in Brooklyn, like the Air Force Ones, initially we called them uptowns.
Yeah.
Facts.
Because uptown,
That was the name.
all of them had them first. They
All
was
of them had
smack.
That's why I still call them
No, that's why
uptowns.
Jim Jones, he still be crushing it. But they was called uptowns.
Yeah, those ain't never
Bronx,
wrong.
Harlem, all that. They was rocking them joints first.
Everybody from
We was on some New Balance, Checkers, you know what I mean, beef and broccolis.
The beef and broccoli.
Nah,
that's a staple in upstate New
Yeah,
York,
that's
the beef
a
and
staple
broccoli.
everywhere in the
You
world.
know what I mean? Chicken and gravy joints, like we was on that type of time.
Yes,
So
sir.
it was a little different, you know what I mean?
What would have been a go-to for you growing up?
Growing up, me, I was like a beef and broccoli, fatigue, you know what I mean, jeans. Cause I grew up in a different type of era, In the 90s, it was different.
All right.
You couldn't be outside unless you wanted to, you had to be outside. Straight up.
Definitely. So as I was mentioning off camera, growing up through the time periods that you guys came up with, it was a lot of influential hip hop brands. There was a lot of different influential hip hop brands and movements in general. Now some of them I weren't alive for, some of them I just remember because I was a little young. Can you guys speak to maybe some brands or some fashion designers from New York City, like the Dapper Dans and so forth? Because when you was talking about people getting money and getting the thing, they was going to Dapper Dan and he was making them custom suits and stuff. Can you talk about some of the influential designers that may have inspired y'all growing up?
Well, I mean, you hit it right on the nose when you talk about that, the custom. Dapper Dan was the king of that in New York. If you wanted Gucci, Louis, all that, it was coming from Dapper Dan. You had the custom made coats. I had the custom made. I had the lime green with the white, the leather polo horse on it with the polo across it, and that was a Dapper Dan joint. If you had the Dapper Dan joint, then you were saying something. He was big, And that's the main one that comes to mind for me when you talk about the custom.
About yourself, was you into custom, or was it a certain brand that you really messed with, or a designer?
It wasn't really so much as where I was at. It wasn't really so much as the brand. It was all about what store you got it from. You know what I mean? Like if I went to Robbins and I bought some Robin jeans or something, and I went to Robbins, I bought something out of Robbins. If I went to Dr. J's to get my, I went to Dr. J's, I didn't just go to, it was certain stores, it was all about where you got it from. Like you went to Dapper Dan's, you had to go there, certain spots.
Like in the 90s, in the 90s, it was a store, it was called the Fila store, Madison Avenue. And it had like 3 levels of all Fila stuff that we used to deal with, back in the early 90s. And it was just, we used to come through the hood with all of that new Fila stuff on, they couldn't understand where we got it from. Because it was like, it was on Madison Avenue. We going to get this stuff, a different type of people shop there. And it was just, that was inspiring for us.
Now I'm trying to think of what was the athlete. Was it Grant Hill that had the felines custom shoe?
Grant Hill.
Yeah.
Jerry Stackhouse.
Stackhouse.
But Grant Hill took off them felines, the ones that had the blue lines around the silhouette like that. Those was cool.
You can still throw a feline sweatsuit and can't go wrong right now.
Nah, it's a fact. With some classic felines on.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
I got one of those in my lineup.
Cut, that's a fact. You should.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, because we're now starting to dip into, actually I want to piggyback off of that where you said the gear that y'all was bringing, some of them was in Midtown Manhattan. Now, I'm not really too familiar, so maybe you can educate me, but, obviously documentaries is out there. Like there were certain crews in New York, like the Low Lifes and other stuff that was...
that was tearing Midtown up.
That was tearing Midtown up and pitting, because we saw a little bit of that, not to sidetrack, the little show that's on, I don't want to say little show, but 50 Cent had a show, Raising Kanan, and there was a part in there where the girl Juke was a part of the Low Lifes growing up, and they was snatching and stuff like that.
You notice she had all the polo Ralph Lauren. Everything that you see in that show, that's what was rocking back then. And the ironic thing is, it's all back out. It all came back out. Just recycles. The rugbies, the polo rugbies, but Low Lifes.
Yeah, they smashed them.
They would get all. That's how we in the hood we got the polo for the low. Get it from them.
Now, we spoke on certain brands, but I want to pinpoint a fashion designer because I interviewed her before talking about April Walker, how she got the fashion game really intertwined with hip hop. Not saying it wasn't before, because obviously Dapper Dan was working with certain rap artists, but I think I got to give respect to April Walker because she really pulled Biggie into certain campaigns, pulled Pac in from above the rim and stuff like
Groovy
that.
Lou also. Yeah.
Oh, Q,
Groovy Lou.
All right.
That was a dude, he had 5,001 flavors. He was like a stylist for Puffy and Big and all of them, but he was definitely making a lot of custom pieces in the 90s, and if you could catch up to him, you might get a t-shirt or something, you know what I mean? It was hard, but he definitely was inspirational in that era.
Well, what borough?
He was, I'm not sure exactly what Groovy Lou was from, but you could look him up. He's still in the fashion.
That's definitely what's up.
I'm not overly familiar with April Walker, but definitely heard of her. Know about Walker wear. Like you said, she always incorporated that hip hop element. I did see a spread that she had in the magazine where she had Method Man in there wearing the Walker wear. So I thought that was big. Just pulling all the influential rap stars, and utilizing them to push that whole, that whole fashion image tied into the hip hop. I think she played a key role in that.
Shout out to her.
For you, I'm gonna go left to right. Name your top Brooklyn artist.
My top what?
Top Brooklyn artist for you.
Everybody would be expecting me to say, Jay-Z, because he is, in my opinion, he's the GOAT. But really, as far as the swag and everything, I kind of like Fabulous. I like the way, Fab put it down, man.
They said it ain't a jersey he ain't got, man.
Fab influenced a lot of stuff too with the jerseys and the throw it in the bag and all this. He always stayed free.
For you.
I don't know if we could go dead or alive. I like Big Pun the most. I'm a Puerto Rican out the Bronx.
Pun.
He was the first Latin rapper to go platinum, Puerto Rican out the Bronx. So But if we're going with live, heard you. Then I'm gonna go with Jadakiss. I like Kiss a lot.
What would it be for you?
Me, my favorite artist. Probably would be Big because he played a pivotal part, like in my life growing up, and what I was going through, and what he was rapping about was kind of, hand in hand. So I'm gonna have to go with Big, but of course, Hov is number 2.
Absolutely.
Class bound.
That might be a debate right there, man. From a Pun, Big. I want to speak to that, and this might be a little debate right here before we get into the fashion. In the short lifespan, obviously, of Pun and Big, Big got No, Pun has 2 albums, 1 unofficial album, and Big has 2 albums. Who would y'all give it up to? Is it a tie as far as lyricism, as far as artistry, swag?
I'm gonna keep it 100. It gotta be what Burrows you from.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I'm like, you know,
I'm gonna
it's
keep it
tough
all the way
because,
100.
If you from Brooklyn, you gonna go with Big.
Yeah, it'd be blasphemous to
Don't
say
cross that
anything
bridge.
less.
You already
Yeah,
know.
right.
And if you from the Bronx, you already know.
Stay on your side.
You know what I mean?
Terror
Terror
Squad,
Squad and Big Pun.
Yeah,
So, you know.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
So that plays a big role because at the end of the day,
And we talking about the youth for us when we was kids, you know,
Yeah,
back then we
yeah.
was taking that serious, man.
Yeah.
Barrel bashing and all that was a real thing.
Yeah.
Same thing up here. You can't be
Impressive.
from uptown.
No, yeah,
down.
right,
Yeah.
right. But at least
Impressive.
now, you know, we grew up and understand the importance of the unity and the, you know, how silly that actually was.
Yeah.
And out
Yeah.
here, it seems like they still haven't grasped that concept. Even the older dudes
Nope.
are still stuck in that mind warp, you know.
So, now that we're starting to come current in this story, did you guys grow up together? How did you guys get familiar with each other?
I got, you know, I guess you would say I'm the link between all of us. I've known Zoe since he was like 16. You know, he
Long
first came
time
out
ago.
there a long time. You know, he's family, like, you know, met him through my sister. You know, initially they was dating, and he's just been family ever since. Been my brother. We've been through a lot. You know, we
Yeah.
held each other down in different
All
situations.
angles, and we're gonna keep
We're
that.
gonna keep doing that. And then as far as Pito, keeping it 100, you know, we met in the trenches. You know, we met in the trenches. You know, we was both, you know, up top. You know what that means. And inside, on the inside, we was holding each other down, had each other's back. And just, you know, we lost contact when we got separated, but ironically, we seen each other up at Boat Landing one day. And you know, I was
Places.
driving an Uber, and he was doing some
Taking my
transportation
aunt,
stuff.
yeah.
And the next, you know, we seen each other in traffic, and we stopped traffic, pulled over, stopped traffic, and it's been on ever since. Well, it's family. These are my brothers, man. So, you know, and they met through me, and
Yeah.
it was an instant connection because we
Facts.
was real recognized.
That's how you like to link too. If it don't happen instantly,
It
something
gonna
wrong.
be an
baby.
instant spark.
You
That's a
already know.
fact.
No question.
Yeah, I can fuck with that.
Yeah. No
So,
question.
you know, yeah, so the bond is real, man. We all bring something different to the table, and it just meshes. It's not forced. You know,
Yeah.
it just works well together. We all got similar styles, but different, with a twist too. And we each got different insight, and that's what makes Be Unique so unique, because we not just, you know, it's almost like 3 entities in one.
No question.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, I want to touch on something, but I'm not going to get too personal. We talked about meeting up top. So, watching the other podcasts, like I'm a big fan of Wallow and Gilly, and he always talks about right before he left prison, he had this quote unquote book of life with all his goals in it. Is this something that you brothers envisioned on your way out, or was you not thinking at the time that this is where you could be when you guys were on your way out from doing what y'all was doing?
Well, for myself, honestly, my whole vision for coming home was just to, you know, be a better father, make sure I've been be in my kids' lives, be a better human being, be the best man I could be. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I've had businesses in the past, and fashion was something that, you know, I've always loved. So it kind of just, I wouldn't say that this was planned, and that's what makes it so
But it
special
seemed like
too.
it was
Right.
destined.
It was
It
destined.
seemed like
It wasn't
it.
planned, but it was destined. You know, he and I had a transportation company together.
Facts. Shout out to 1000.
1000 Transportation. You know,
question.
Zoe had the and he still had the detailing
Trinity
shop.
Auto.
Detail store. I had a candy
Trinity
store.
Auto Detailing.
So, you know, kind of just when the thought came into my mind and this place became available, you know, I went to Zoe like, you know, this place is available. What do you think we could do with it? And fashion came up, and initially it was just going to be
Unique
a clothing
fashion.
store.
You
But then we said, you know what? We want to push our own brand. We was going to have Kasubi in here. We was going to have Clockwork and all these different brands. But then, you know, we took it a step further and was like, you know what? Let's create our own brand. Let's do something different. You know, let's be unique. You know, and be unique is radically distinctive. and without equal. That's our logo. You know, that's what we go by.
Let's get into the branding process and starting a business. So if you guys could give some game to the youth who may be interested in starting a business, a logo, or anything, can you talk about the importance of trademarking and properly starting your business?
Absolutely.
He can tell you that.
So they call me the office.
Yeah, that's the
I kinda
office.
handle
That's what I was gonna
all
say.
that-
Speak to
that
the
side,
office.
that side of things. And
If y'all ain't got one of those, you should get you one, man. The office is important.
what I would say to the young people is do your research. Do your research, because there's a lot of places out there that offer to do certain things for you, and they charge you this astronomical fee.
Like we
And I went through
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, with this business, I took more of a hands-on approach and did the trademarking myself, did the LLC myself. I just did the research and knew what it needed to be done, and saved a lot of money by doing it that way. And you have complete control. So I would say to the young people, just have your ducks in order. Make sure you got a business plan, and make sure you know what your resources are, and utilize those resources. And whatever you can do yourself, do yourself. If it's not your specialty, then a wise man knows to hire somebody who knows that better than they do. You know, so that's that would be what I would tell young people. Just do the research and make sure that you do it the right way. So I had businesses in the past that I didn't take every step that I was supposed to take, and in the end, you can get shut down for that. You can get fined. You can get put out of business. So you want to make sure that that you're paying your taxes.
That's number one. You gotta
one.
pay the taxes.
You don't
Gotta
pay your
do it.
taxes and you call yourself a business, then they're
Yeah.
gonna come for you.
You don't want the IRS on you.
You want to have everything in place. Trademark. Trademark is important.
Yeah.
So you talked about this place being available. We're such in a digital age where everything gets sold online. What was it about having a brick and mortar store versus saying, yo, I'll just make some pieces, post it on social media and try to send it out online versus investing in this spot and like bringing it to life more?
Well, part of it is that we've been ingratiated in this neighborhood for so long. When we talk about Trinity, my grandmother, my family first came up here. That's where they were at, on Trinity. Zoe's been on Trinity. He's got the detailing shop on Trinity. Everything's tied in. So, we when this place became available, it was right here.
It just felt right.
It was right here, and it was like, you know what? We could turn this. We've seen other businesses in this building, and they didn't last. But we thought that we could bring something
Different.
different.
To the hood, yeah.
Maybe try to uplift the downtown Albany area.
Yeah, I think that's very important, being that I'm a native of Albany, lived in every section from uptown to downtown. So that's definitely something that's needed in this community, to see black business owners, especially you guys, sticking together. It's often hard when you start a business for people to stick together. So can you talk about the camaraderie of you guys working together? It's not all peaches and cream. Some days might be up, some days might be down. Y'all might be arguing. But can you talk about just the unity amongst you brothers?
I stutter with that. I want to just say, like, all of us got like a certain drive, you know what I mean? Like, say if I made VO for whatever I'm going through, I always know that these two gonna be at the front line holding it down, and it's vice versa, you know what I mean?
Right.
Since we all had a bunch of unexpected things happening that we had to, take time off, but everything still worked out and the engine was still running. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could piggyback off that 100%. We ain't never let each other down, no matter what. I could call people till I'm blue in the face, but at the end of the day, if I'm limping on this side, he get right up under that side and pick me up so I ain't hurting myself. If I'm limping on this side, that man right there holding me up. I know. He said, sometimes y'all argue, we don't.
Yeah.
We talk like men.
Yeah.
We've been bros for a while, and we talk to each other like men. Men can talk. Men can say things that don't agree with the other one, and not, again, we're men, and we approach it as such, and it's working great for us.
And that, I think that's really important because you would expect a lot of times in a partnership, especially when there's 2 or 3 different people, that there's going to be arguments, disagreements. Not to say we don't have disagreements because
Right, it's the
and
fashion.
they're minor disagreements.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's minor disagreements, and it
Man, I
never
really
gets
don't like that
into-
color.
Something
Yeah,
just something to work out. You know
There's
what I mean?
always
Simple
something
stuff.
that we don't argue. We don't argue with each other, and I think that a part of it is our personalities,
Yeah, our
and
personality.
the other part is the brotherhood.
And we've been through the trenches, all of us.
Been through the
So,
trenches, so you know
it's
we've been in
different.
life-altering situations with each other. So you know, to be in business together, it's like this is not something that's going to cause us to have a riff
Yeah.
or to argue or ever raise our voices at each other. We work through it, you
Yeah.
know. And then usually, if it's usually around, okay, nah, I don't think that design is right. I don't think that design is right, and we you know, we adapt and we
And
go
work it out.
with it. We work with it. So.
I think you guys did a very good job adapting as far as your designs and stuff, because when I came in here, my wife put me on. I was like, yo, this shit is fly. Because coming from seeing other fashion designers, not from Albany, just in general, it seemed like it's a rush job to like put a sticker on a shirt, iron it, and
Just put
sell
anything
it.
out, yeah, nah, we ain't doing
You guys got well quality
Yeah.
stitched in your hat. Like I
Yeah.
see the quality in every design from behind you. So can you guys talk to, I guess, the design process, the color schemes? Like, how did you guys come up with that, and what was the thought process behind? Let's take it a step further than doing what everybody else is doing.
Well, I would say we just put our minds together. As far as the different designs, like I said, that's the good thing about having 3 people with, you know, similar but different personalities and fashion sense. When we bring it all to the table, we're able to come up with something unique. Like Zoe designs jackets, Pito designs jackets, like the jackets that they got on.
So,
You know,
jackets.
I came up with the designs for some of the shirts, and you know, we just all, you know, Pito's kind of artistic.
jacket.
You know, he does the
Yes,
graffiti
sir.
and stuff. So, you know, we kind of just bring our thoughts to the table and see what works the best. And it's like that was one of the things that we said from the beginning. We wanted quality over everything.
I was
Quality
waiting for you
over
to touch on
quantity.
that.
Because we can buy a whole bunch of stuff
Bunch of
and just
crap.
put it out there. But we take our time. We deal with the right people as far as making our stuff. You know, we've been through different manufacturers that didn't work, or they didn't put forth the quality that we were looking for. So if it's not there, we don't utilize it. We'll take a loss if we have to, but we're not going to put
Yeah,
no
we're not
garbage
promoting
out.
no bunk, man.
Yeah, no problem.
At no point.
Yeah.
Talked about manufacturing. Is that, I know there's many different layers and aspects of the fashion game, but how important is finding the right manufacturer? Because, and the reason why I asked that, I know our brother outside, you know, Mr. West is going through something right now where people are shutting him down. Can you talk about having like your own manufacturer that's going to work with you guys and produce quality?
I think that's critical, especially if you're trying to put forth a custom clothing line that's quality. You got to have the right manufacturers, and sometimes you might have more than one. You know, because this manufacturer may do this, they specialize in this, and this one over here specializes in something different. But having that relationship and them knowing that you're not going to put out anything that's garbage, they know what to expect when they're dealing with you. I think that's critical. Having a manufacturer that can get the product done and get it to you in a timely manner, that's really important. Especially since, you know, none of us make clothing ourselves. You know, we're not seamstress or
As of
anything
yet,
like that
yeah.
as of yet. But that's one of the, and this is why these jackets came about. You know, they're putting these jackets together themselves. So, in addition to having manufacturers outside, we're also looking into, you know, growing from the inside, learning and taking the fashion to another level by actually, you know, we have the designs and our ideas in our minds that we give to the manufacturers, but now it's like, okay, how do we take it to that next level and actually start producing some of the product ourselves in-house? You know?
That's the goal.
I'm gonna piggyback off this question for you two. You guys talked about the creative process. For you guys, what's the most enjoyable part about creating the jackets and the designs that you're coming up with?
I mean, with me is like watching other people appreciate it. You know what I mean? Saying that you took your time and put your work in, and other people like it just as much as you like it. You know what I mean?
That's the reward.
That's the reward. Sure.
I ain't gonna lie, so he kind of sort of fake stole my answer. It's the joy that you see in people, but I'm not gonna lie, it brings me a joy too. Like I stated it to my man off camera earlier. We was back there and we was working. I'm like, yo, bro, like I really enjoy this process, man. It's like just chilling, you know. We chill, we kick it, we shoot ideas back and forth. We shoot shit down if we don't like it. We big it up when we, you pump each other up and you get it going. And then again, seeing those smiling faces and people running in and out our store, to seeing if we got new stuff out, cause we crank it out as we go. It's selling fast, and then we can get them on the hooks, you know.
And that's another thing I want to point out, where not having an ego is really important. It comes into play because initially it's like, okay, I'm doing designs for the shirts and hoodies, Zoe's designing the jackets, Pito's putting together all our displays, all the stuff you see online, the pictures, the website, all that stuff. That was his
Pito camera.
So, it's like we had our lanes, but we don't mind crossing over into other lanes. Like when Pito expressed the interest in wanting to do jackets, Zoe was fine with that. Like, bro, it's all for the greater good. You got your vision, I got my vision. Let's put it out there. That just adds to the brand of Be Unique. So it's not like, Zoe could have been like, nah, that's my department. That's what I do. You can do this, but it's none of that. It's none of that, and that's key because a lot of businesses and partnerships fail because people are so territorial, or they got their ego in the way. And that's one thing I love about our team, that it's not, we don't have that.
That's right. We trying to eat.
So, I got a question, and I don't know if this applies to you guys. I see you got a lot of sneakers down there. Now, I'm not a sneakerhead myself, but just doing my research, I see a lot of people complaining online about they call them resellers. In your opinion, is the resellers messing up the sneaker game? I don't know how that applies to you guys. I don't want to mess up your connection if that's your connection.
That's kind of sort of my department. So I agree with the people that feel that resellers are messing up the game. Us as Be Unique, we are not resellers. We are in a sneaker store. I have sneakers there because we all collectively had our own collection of sneakers. I had a huge collection of sneakers before we thought about doing the clothes, which is why there's a ton of Air Force Ones down there. We didn't invest any money into trying to be a sneaker store. We're not trying to be a sneaker store. We got our brand. The sneakers were just like an accessory. I got them priced slightly above what I paid, and I mean super slightly, just because of what they cost. And if they want to sell, they can sell, but if not, we're really not trying to sell sneakers, because again, I agree with the people. You buy a pair of sneakers for $125, you find them in a shoe store for $300. That's ridiculous. If I bought my sneakers for $120, I might charge you $130. Again, I'm not selling sneakers. If you want to buy them, I'm hoping that when you see the sneaker, you like the outfit that I got sitting next to the sneaker, or the hat that I had next to it, because that's the angle. I mean, Nike, they're huge already. They don't need our help. I'm trying to push Be Unique.
Definitely what's up.
Excuse me.
No problem. Like this. All right, so we touched on the sneakers. COVID lasted a minute, so it kind of shut down a lot of businesses in particular. COVID is dying down, so it's allowing us to network again. I looked online, I see you guys are networking outside of New York, going to different pop-up shops. Can you guys talk about how big that's been for you and your brand as far as networking out of New York State?
It's been instrumental, actually, because that's our whole thing. We're not trying to be a local brand or a local store. Our goal is to be international. We're trying to make it on the big stage. And we enjoy going to other places and bringing our brand to different states, to different cities. We understand with the age of the internet and social media and e-commerce. You can get your stuff out there online. But there's nothing like the joy of going to these pop-ups and mingling and being with the community. And you know, when they buy the Be Unique or being somewhere. Recently we were at an event and somebody came in and they had Be Unique on. It's just like, you know,
That was a
it's
really
different
dope feeling right there. I ain't gonna lie.
And just to see the reception that you get in different parts of the country. Like we just did a trip that was about 10 days. We started in Connecticut, Pennsylvania, then we went to Fayetteville, then we went to Atlanta, and then we ended up in Charlotte. And the reception in each place was just, it was dope. And, you know, in Fayetteville, the hotel staff was buying us.
Yeah, they was buying us out. We
He
set up
the
the shop
room
right
up.
in the room.
Set the room up like a store.
They was buying us
And
out.
they was buying stuff in Charlotte. We are at the mall now. All these stores in the mall, but they're buying Be Unique. They're buying Be
Out
Unique
of
in
Trump.
the parking lot, out to Trump. So we got the mindset, and it was like Zoe kind of brought it up. We gotta have that mindset, like when you was pushing your mixtapes, when rappers was pushing their mixtapes and selling out to Trump, and going on road
Going
trips and stuff.
everywhere with the
That's,
merch.
that's the mindset that we want to
Reaching the people.
And coming soon, we will have a mobile boutique. So you'll see the mobile boutique rolling around with the Be Unique and everything.
That's
so
gonna be the vibe too. You can walk in it.
So I want to thank you for bringing that up because I think that's dope. I think one thing that what you're explaining is the experience of Be Unique, the brand. And this is something that helped the brother who passed away, Nipsey Hussle. He talked about the Marathon clothing store, how it was an experience. It wasn't just buy my t-shirt, like it was a whole experience. So can you talk about the experience that you guys are creating here, and then the mobile boutique that you guys are gonna be pushing out very soon?
Well, basically, the experience that we created here, as you can see, is like a homely type of store, you know what I mean? We got sofas, we got registers upstairs in the loft area, we got fireplaces, you know what I mean? So we try to make it as comfortable for us as it is for the person that's coming here to shop, you know what I'm saying?
So when you come in, we didn't want to look like a store. You know, we took that boutique, like that Midtown Manhattan loft boutique type of thing, kind of blended it together. If you look around the store, I think that as far as physically, that's one of the things that when people come in, they get that experience. It smells good in here.
That
you know,
good
it looks
aesthetic.
good. We have New York stations playing on the radio. So it is a unique experience when you come in to the store. And also, like I said, going out and just getting on the road. We're spending time together, which is only strengthening our brotherhood. And then we out there, we're pushing our brand together. And it's like, that's why we post everywhere we go. When people buy Be Unique, it's to the point now where someone comes in the store and they buy Be Unique, they automatically want to take you taking my picture?
Right.
Take their picture under the Be Unique sign. And we post them and we thank them. We show appreciation and gratitude for their business. And I think that's something else that sets us apart from a lot of other startups and companies. But you can speak to your experience, how you feel.
Well, I agree with that. Obviously, the brotherhood that came with it, like the experience all together, all of us. Because again, we all, I mean, aside from being fashion savvy with what we were wearing, but to actually, you know, be clothing line owner and really behind the creative process of like every aspect, every color, what color the stitching we want, like every, you know, it's so dope. It opens. I mean, if you're into like art, it has art. You know, if you're into just making money, it makes money. If you're into, you know, whatever, you know, just again the fashion side, you just like to get fresh, you're gonna get fresh. Like it just, you can do so much. You travel. It's a good time. I ain't gonna lie, it's a really good time.
How soon are you guys gonna be rolling out? Is that 2023? The mobile boutique?
2023.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
2023.
That's the goal.
So, you know, and before we even had, you know, we had our grand opening April 16th. But before that, you know, we did a give back to the community. And actually it was a giveaway, you know, because at that point, community hadn't spent a dime with us and because we weren't open yet. So we did a giveaway where we gave out over 200 bags of groceries and cleaning supplies, just as another way to introduce ourselves to the community and also show that we're not just talking about we're not just looking for what the community can give us. We're looking for what we can give the community. You know, so everybody talks about this area and it's this, it's dangerous, it's that, and that. It's not going to change unless we change. You know, we designed our store. We put flower pots out front, try to make it nice, and next thing you know, you see the business across the street. got
Right.
flower
Everybody
pots,
started putting
other
flower
people-
pots and cleaning
That's
up
the
the act.
inspiration we were hoping to have and continue to have as we move forward. You know? A lot of people say, "Why'd you open up in this neighborhood? And why'd you this and why'd you that?" Listen, this, this is where we from the trenches, man.
Because
So-
we in the hood.
That's
If
it.
y'all was wondering why he's saying that, it's because we in the hood, people. Our store is located in the hood, but it's super safe. We good. We cranking it out, man. Be Unique is here.
As we start wrapping this up, as grown men, something that we strive for is to leave a legacy. So I'm gonna go around from left to right. Ro, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind for your peers, your family, and so forth?
Well, first and foremost is my offspring, my kids. You know, I got 2 grandkids. We all got kids. Our hope is that, they see the hard work that we're putting in, and we're building something that can be left to them. And that's why for us, it's not just about how much money can we make right now and how fast can we do this, that, and no, it's about building. It's building a brand. That's one of the things that I always, hashtag on our posts. Be unique, building a brand.
That's a
Bigger than the clothing line.
It's bigger than the clothing line because Be Unique is just, that's the umbrella. Be Unique LLC is our actual company. Be Unique Clothing is just one entity under that umbrella. So there's more to come, and we want to leave that legacy for our kids. We want our peers to see that, you can make mistakes in life. You can go through some hard times, have some setbacks, but you can still be successful in what it is that you're passionate about. So you don't have to settle.
Definitely don't.
You.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm doing it for my kids, man. I'm doing the brotherhood that I built with my boys. Like, I don't need no friends. I got my bros. I got a couple of people I might associate with, but I'm not out here looking for friends. I'm at that point in my life where I'm 100% focused on what's important in my life. And if you're a dad, shout out to the dads out there, you know what I'm getting at. My kids, that's my world, so I want them to be straight now, and when I'm not here, I guess you would call it the generational wealth. Trying to build that generational wealth so that they'll remember me, and then their kids' kids, and their kids' kids' kids. Like, oh, Uncle Ro and Uncle Zoe with Dad built this thing way back when, y'all don't even know them, but they were dope. Check these pictures out. Check this out, It'll be dope.
My story is likewise, I got 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. As of yet, no grandkids. Thank you. But I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I'm the old man in the crew. I'm the grandpa.
Well, we just trying to build a dynasty with this, you know what I mean?
Facts.
That's it, man. We need tractor trailers, we need restaurants, we need everything. You know what I'm saying? We willing to put that work in and get it. So that's what it is.
So last question that anybody can answer, all 3 can answer. 20, 30, 40 years down the line, what do you want Be Unique to be remembered as? Because I know it's still early in the game.
A life-changing brand, bro.
That's
you think about it,
trenches.
a life-changing brand. Man. That's why we try to document the process from the beginning. We take a lot of footage. We want people to see the growth and what we went through. To be honest with you, the way that we're structuring this brand is to be, as far as the clothing brand, is to be a staple. To be a staple. To be like Ralph Lauren and Polo and all those brands that
Go-to brand,
that are still here 30, 40, 50 years later. It's still relevant. It's still here.
Black owned.
Black owned is key. And like he said when he talked about
Black
the trucking,
Latino
restaurants, and things like that,
Yeah.
we want Be Unique LLC. We want it to be worldwide. So, that's 30, 40 years from now.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Definitely.
A few years from now, I see us in a high-rise office building now. We're just, we're running a Fortune 500 company where, we're just, we're in the office now. And we got, other people doing the day-to-day stuff that we're doing now. We got a whole team of people doing that, and we're just managing.
Yeah.
And that's what I see for us.
Definitely. I appreciate your brother's time. It's definitely an experience. I'm glad to get you guys stories. Is there anything you want to lead off with?
I appreciate you taking the time to get to know who Be Unique is. This is important to us. We appreciate, I know you got a platform, and I appreciate you inviting us in and giving us an opportunity to talk about the beginning, how it all started, and to talk about the brotherhood that we share. I think it's important that, people know the other side. It's not just what we put out, but the hard work that we put in also.
I just want to shout out to you and shout out to your wife for putting you on us.
Definitely. She definitely came home and was like, yo, you need to go down there and go get your gear up.
No questions.
So we grab Pito so he can have his last word.
All right.
Pito, come on, you gotta say your last word. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, sorry, we open for business.
Oh, yeah. Business is booming.
That's a fact.
So I just let them two brothers lead off with anything they want to say as far as the final anything you want to shout out or just whatever.
Well, my man touched up on it earlier, and since you already know we went away, just if you're a young dude and you ever been through stuff, or don't give up. Like, do not give up and let nobody tell you different. Stay focused and grounded, and trust the process. Or trust the process. It works.
Once again, I'm Roland, Be Unique. I want to give a shout out to MB Online. I love your platform. I love you, what you're doing. Thank you for giving us a voice and allowing us on your platform. So, keep doing what you're doing. We need you.
Facts. My name is P, 1/3 of the Be Unique, and I definitely want to give a big shout out to MB Online. Definitely appreciate what you're doing for the culture, man, and definitely appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your movement as well as, us bringing you into our world. Big shout out.
This is Zoe, 1/3 of Be Unique. I just want to shout out MV Online. And I respect what you're doing, and I respect your platform, and keep pushing, homie.